Hi everyone, I guess we're doing great. This is Ade. So I would like to show us how to set up G Suite for education. So let's move. Step one, you visit this URL. So once you log onto this URL, you can see a page like this, right? So basically, you can see that G Suite is actually a suite of tools designed to empower educators and students as they learn and innovate together. So if you want to just sign up, you can see here, you can just click on sign up for G Suite. Then you move to step three. Step three, this is the next page you're going to see. So hey, this is where Google is just getting you fired up, and it's saying let's get started. As you can see here, it says G Suite for Education is free for eligible institutions. So I want to talk about the documents and things that makes us a little bit eligible later. But let me just show us that now. The eligibility criteria and the rest. Let me switch my screen and move down to the place there. So let's see. Okay, basically for you to qualify for G Suite for Education, according to Google, G Suite is sort of free tools, basically, and of course, Google also reserves the right, to determine an organization's eligibility for G Suite for Education. So for you to qualify, if your K-12 schools, of course, in Nigeria here are equivalents of the primary and secondary schools, right? So higher institutions, home schools are eligible for G Suite for Education if they meet certain criteria, and these are the criteria. The institution applying for G Suite for Education must submit the application. K-12 and higher institutions must, you must have a verified not-for-profit status, and also you must be a government recognized, formally accredited educational institution. So once you do this, basically the teams are actually very nice people. They do their due diligence, and of course I know, if there's nothing actually standing in your way, you will get it. So of course that's like step three. So step four, you just keep hitting next. So here you have to put your institution name. In this case we have a test case of Notify Academy. It's not like there's actually an academy with this name. It's for illustrative purposes. So depending on the category, since right now we're looking at primary and secondary school, so I expect that we'll click here and we hit the next button. So step five, yes, here you're going to institution website, the URL. So this is where we actually said we are helping all most of the primary, secondary schools, colleges to get this SLD, second level domain name .sch.ng. This is where we had the little bit of confusion, whereby some schools were registering the TLD, top level domain of .com, and what that actually makes easy to be very, in a way, the teams, they still do their due diligence, but of course they will be looking at it .com. It's a school, and that might give you a little bit of it's just good for you to do the right thing. If you're an institution or university, get the edu.ng. If you're a school or other form of training institute and you think you qualify for this, you could go for the .sch.ng. So you're gonna hit this drop down here which says number of students and staff. So you choose the one that fits your category, then you hit the next button. So here it says what's your institution's location and number. Of course, for me, talking from Nigeria here, and you put your phone number. Everything's more like next finish. So next step, enter your institution address. You put the address here. If it's long enough, or you have other addresses, you could put here. Put in your local government area, the city, the postal code. If you don't know the postal code of your city, you could just go to Google and type postal code of FCT Abuja, Nigeria, something like that. Then you could hit select your state, of course. Then you hit the next button. Your next step here is you're gonna put your contact information. Google always likes the fact that maybe schools can sign up themselves, or if you're supporting schools like what I'm doing, but you have to put like name of like maybe the head teacher or the school proprietor, and basically the first name, last name, and also a functional email address. Then you hit the next button. So here it says use this domain to set up the account. So you already purchased your domain, so you could put it here. And of course, if you don't have a domain yet, you can always, say I want to buy a new domain instead. And Google actually sells domains, so you can of course get that. And eventually you're gonna click, next also. So when you get here, it says how you sign in. So this is more like you could see here you use the username to sign in your, you could say, the admin account. So for a test case, this is like the super role. So you could have something like admin at notifyacademy.sc.com. Of course, this will be unique to your school. Then your password here. Then of course you could see down the password, you have at least 8 characters, and if you want to be sure what you've actually typed in, you can just click on this icon here with the eye symbol. Then that could reveal it. Then you click next. So next in here, it says share great ideas with Google. So Google is actually giving you an opportunity to at least basic feedback. You could see here it says, do you want to exchange great ideas with Google related to your use of our services? We'll send occasional emails with tips, offers, and announcement. And I think if you're the type that you're looking at, maybe you want to join the Google community, like there's a group which is actually called the Google Educators Group. Yeah, we've actually been, it's a little bit low in Nigeria, but we've been trying our best for some time. I've been supporting from afar, but it's not like the Google Business Group. I did put lots of passion over the years now, So once I think you should do okay here, So you move to the next. Then here you're gonna have the G Suite for Education, the school consent. So there's this long list of like things, your policy you have to read and all. Yeah, you could go through it, but if I think of course if you don't hit the agree and continue button, you can move next. But they're just things that lets you know, of course you're gonna have these things for free, and about what Google does and how you can help your schools and the rest, about privacy. So when you're done, you can also hit the agree and continue button. So next here you have you're almost done creating your account. So yeah, here Google wants to know if you're not a robot. Of course I know you're not a robot, but in a way you have to convince the computer that you're not. And the only way you could do that is actually to check this box here, and once you do that, it's called capture. They were captured. So once you're good and all, you can also hit the next button. Or of course you're gonna hit the agree and continue, right? So yeah, while you're trying to validate the capture, you could see things like this. It's not a big deal, of course. They're just trying to be sure that you're human. So here's asking for cars. Just see where cars are. Just click, and just click verify. So smooth. You're gonna see a green check box here, and everything's fine. Then you see this button enabled, agree and continue, and voila. So you're good. So once you get here, it says your G Suite for Education 14 days trial has started. Of course, Google gives you like 2 weeks, 14 days for you to test the system, and it's actually in between this period that the education team are going to contact you for you to provide, the documents that you do have about the registration status, of your school. And it's a very smooth part, and here you can take note. It says you can get yourself a 9 of your user setup. So you have like maximum of 10 accounts to create at the beginning, pending the time you get the approval. So yeah, that's about it. Then you click continue to set up. So here now you get to the main dashboard. Of course they're gonna welcome you to your admin side. This is like the first entry message you get. You can now hit next and to the next part. So of course here they're gonna welcome you, and they're gonna ask you have to verify your domain. The domain verification is actually also smooth. This is something very basic for technical people. It's just they're gonna give you a file, and once you're done, you click verify, and basically, and also you can just hit here to create new users, moving forward. So yeah, when you're verifying, there are actually 2 ways to do that. You could do it by configuring like txt file. The steps are very procedural, very easy. Or you could switch to a method that suits you. Once you're done, you hit the continue button as appropriate. So this is more like a sample page. When you're doing, I blot out some information here, so but this is more like the guide on the step, what you need to do. Like in this case, if you are looking at maybe adding this to your server. So you could just hit this, copy here, basically, and take it to where your server is, and just make sure everything's intact, and it will be fine. And you click, verify my domain. Yeah, it actually happens in a minute. So here you can also choose the verification method. As I said, you could actually, it is recommended, so you could do the TXT thing, basically, and hit next, or alternatively you could upload an HTML file, basically. So the uploading actually looks more super easy. I don't know, but it looks easy to me anyway. So it's just based on preference, Then you just hit next also. So yeah, this is how the dashboard looks. And you remember, we talked about the top right hand corner here where you have those icons here. So once you hit this icon, you still have almost where all of your apps are located, right? And the first account, this is like the admin dashboard, but of course this is how you get to the email account of the of the admin. So once you hit here, it opens in a new window, so you will see pretty straight and forward. Also, let me take it back a little bit. You can see now that here there's actually like this icon here. So once you hit this icon, what happens is you see something comes down here. This is more like everything on the admin panel. So you could hit home, and it's just very straightforward. So yeah, this is more like the main, the dashboard, the admin console. So you have everything intact, just display smooth. And of course, you could see here to help teams stay connected during remote work. More made features are available for video calling for a limited time. So you could set up video calling here, super cool, So yeah. This is actually the part of verification too. You're gonna have some time here, when you're verifying, and yeah, that's just about this. Of course, let me go back a bit. So when you have something like called billing here, right? If you're using like the paid version, Google expects you to pay, but of course, if you signed up for like the G Suite for Education, when you click on like this billing, what you're gonna see is what we have here, So of course, they gave you 14 days, which will expire within the limited time, So this is how you know the subscription you're on. And actually, if you're on business and you made a mistake, you want to downgrade to G Suite for Education, you could see this action bar here. You just click here, and of course you're gonna have option to downgrade. So here now, this is how the verification process goes. You have a countdown time, basically, and everything is more like next finish. So I already talked about setting up a video call here, so of course, yeah. So once your account is verified, you're gonna have like this check mark here, and another check mark, saying that okay, you're verified, and the completion rate, and the users that have been added. And then one of the ways you're gonna know that okay, everything is fine for you as the admin, the MX records are well configured, is you're gonna activate your Gmail. So you want to activate it by clicking here, right? So this is like a typical use case of how the MX record will look on your server, when you're adding it up, and all of this have to be intact, right? So once you have it configured, Google gives you like a sample, then you can always restart, the service called named on your server, if you're doing it on Linux, and as everything's working, you're gonna have like this check mark here, like the tick sign here showing green, saying hey, you're good, and when you make mistakes also, the system also flags like this red symbol here, which shows like something is missing. So it's something that if you make mistakes along the way, you can easily correct it. So there are really no hurries for you to be scared or something. So here you have retry activation, and until you get it right. So once you get it right, you're gonna have this. You say it's ready to activate Gmail. They just show you the prompt here. You click continue, you move to the next stage, and here you're gonna have they'll ask you to send a test email. What the send test email does is just to send an email, more like back and forth, for you to be sure that the accounts you have and the MX record are configured correctly, can both send and receive email. That's like the best and assured way to test if everything's working fine. So when you're doing the test and you click you click on the send test email, so this is what you have. you have like this dialog box which will just show you, okay, yeah, you're about to send text, email, stuff, and you hit send. So once you do that, you're going to now click on get into the email account. Then you're gonna have the GSO team, and basically once you click up here, you're going to see your name here and account. In case you have multiple accounts, they will be slightly displayed underneath, and you could always switch in between them. It's based on preference. So once you open your test email, you're gonna find this, how this is where Google welcomes you, and everything is good to go. So yeah, on the admin dashboard, you can, when you click on profile, you have this stuff here, complete profile rather. It's good for you to personalize stuff, like let the system carry the logo of your institution, your school. You can see here, you can upload your logo. It has its defined size in a way, so by default it's here. Of course, Google is giving you the service, so you can click on customize logo here and just ensure that the size, you can do a PNG or GIF format depending on what you have, but they've given some dimension here. In a way, maybe many might disregard this, but I will advise you to actually stick to it. The reason why, so that you don't have the logo of your school looking very chubby and squeezed. It works, and of course make sure that it's not larger than 30 KB, and you could click upload and you have a check sign and you click save, you move forward. So here, this is what you get when eventually the teams have actually requested for your documents, and eventually you got a feedback, right? And they're welcoming you. Once you get an email like this, welcome to GSO for Education, it looks like you're in heaven already. Google have gone through all of your credentials, and they found you worthy to have the account. So I hope this was really interesting and informative for you, and I want to see most of schools in Nigeria, all across the world, where you're having this crisis. You can take advantage of this to engage, connect both your teachers and students from home. Thank you for the time, and wishing you all the best.